If you ask me, guys, the upcoming weeks from June 1 to June 19 are going to completely shatter the fragile peace of our beloved Port Charles, leaving us gasping for air as we watch lives unravel in the most dramatic ways imaginable. We have been waiting for these explosive storylines to peak, and now that the summer heat is kicking in, the writers are pulling absolutely no punches. From heart-wrenching goodbyes to cold-blooded murder plots, every single character we care about is stepping into a deadly line of fire. Let's start with the emotional wrecking ball that is heading our way during the first week from June 1 to June 5. Our minds are completely blown by the news that Christina is preparing to say her final farewell. After everything she has endured, seeing her graduate medical school this June should be a moment of pure triumph, but instead, it is wrapped in the bittersweet pain of departure. We have watched her struggle with her identity, her family legacy, and her own intense demons, making this goodbye feel incredibly heavy. If you ask me, her exit is going to leave a massive void in the lives of those who love her, especially as the dark clouds of danger continue to circle her family. You just know that saying goodbye is never simple in this town, and her departure will trigger a chain reaction of emotional fallout. Meanwhile, the corporate and personal warfare is escalating to a whole new level of crazy. Tracy, our ultimate queen of ruthless schemes, is on an absolute warpath to protect deception. We can clearly see that she is willing to do whatever it takes to eliminate Jens from the company, even if it means striking a deal with the devil himself. And who is that devil? None other than the slick, unpredictable Rick. Tracy bringing Rick into the fold is like throwing gasoline on a burning fire, and I am absolutely here for the chaos. Tracy has never met an obstacle she couldn't bulldoze, and watching her utilize Rick's sharp legal mind to outmaneuver Jens is going to be pure, unadulterated soap opera gold. You just know Rick is playing his own long game, and Tracy might be playing with fire. But the drama doesn't stop at Deception's front doors. Michael is busy playing puppet master, using his trademark manipulation to push Willow and Chase closer together. If you ask me, Michael is playing an incredibly dangerous game here, and his scheming is bound to backfire in the most spectacular fashion. When Tracy stumbles upon an incredibly intimate moment between Willow and Chase, she does not hold back. We get to witness Tracy utterly blasting Chase, unleashing her legendary wrath in a scene that will leave everyone trembling. Tracy has zero tolerance for betrayal or weakness, and seeing her tear into Chase is going to expose the deep fractures in these relationships. How much longer can Willow and Chase pretend everything is fine when the foundation of their lives is built on a bed of lies? Over at Turning Woods, the psychological mind games are reaching a boiling point. Nina is desperately trying to convince Brennan that they are on the same side. We all know Nina can be wonderfully unhinged when she is backed into a corner, and her latest stunt is proof of that. After throwing away a syringe instead of injecting Brennan with another dose as planned, she genuinely believes this act of self-preservation proves her ultimate loyalty to him. But can you really trust a man like Brennan? To make things even more intriguing, we are getting a brand new face in the mix. Elliot, a nurse played by the real-life brother of the actor who plays Rocco, is stepping into the scene to interact with Nina and Brennan. This subtle nod to family legacy adds such a cool, authentic layer to the unfolding drama at the care facility. As if that wasn't enough, Sonny and Laura are desperately trying to manage a situation that is spiraling out of control. They turn to Lucas for help with Pascal, but if you ask me, Lucas is in way over his head. Lucas has always tried to do the right thing, but in the dark and gritty underworld of Port Charles, good intentions can get you killed. Jens is already on the hunt for whoever attacked Marco, and due to a massive misunderstanding, he is convinced that Pascal is the mastermind behind the assault. We can see the panic setting in as Carly starts pushing for answers. Carly has a sixth sense for danger, and she can feel in her bones that Lucas is facing a nightmare scenario at Windermere. The sheer panic in Carly's eyes is going to keep us glued to our screens. And what about Ethan? The charming adventurer is about to realize that his past is a ghost that refuses to stay buried. Alexis confronts him with a shocking piece of evidence, a photograph she discovered of Ethan alongside Delilah at a gallery in Manhattan. This revelation blows the lid off a major secret as Alexis demands to know the truth about Phoebe. If Ethan is indeed Phoebe's father, Alexis is insisting that he needs to step up and claim his daughter right now before Chase and Brooklyn become completely attached to the little girl. But Ethan, being the complicated soul he is, argues that Phoebe is exactly where she belongs, urging Alexis to keep fighting for Chase and Brooklyn to be her adoptive parents. You just know this baby drama is going to tear multiple families apart. Of course, wherever there is leverage, Ava is never far behind. Ava corners Ethan separately, and you can practically see the wheels turning in her brilliant, wicked mind. She is planning to use Ethan's past connection to Delilah as absolute blackmail to bend him to her will. Ava is a master at playing people like chess pieces, and Ethan is about to find himself trapped in her web. What exactly does Ava want from him, and how far will she push him to get it? The tension between these two is going to be absolutely electric, and I think we are about to see a whole new side of Ethan as he tries to survive Ava's ruthless demands. As we transition into the high-stakes week of June 8 to June 12, the level of danger skyrockets into pure nightmare fuel. Brick is working overtime, pulling every resource he has to locate Rocco and Britt. But they aren't the only ones searching. Ross is on a relentless, bloodthirsty mission to hunt them down, and his intentions are deadly. Ross wants nothing more than to eliminate both Britt and Rocco, permanently silencing them. The thought of young Rocco in such extreme danger is heartbreaking, but watching Britt step up to protect him is going to be incredibly powerful. As they run for their lives, dodging Ross's deadly gaze, Britt and Rocco are going to form an unbreakable bond. This survival storyline is going to give us the ultimate emotional payoff, making us root for them with everything we have. Back in the heart of Port Charles, Windermere becomes a literal death trap. Jens is ready to execute Pascal for Marco's murder, completely unaware of the truth. We, the viewers, know that it was actually Ross who ended Marco's life, but Jens is blinded by rage and ready to spill innocent blood. Lucas is trapped in the middle of this chaos, desperately trying to prevent a cold-blooded execution, but finding himself completely powerless against Jens's brutal associates. The walls are closing in on Lucas, and the sheer helplessness he feels is going to resonate deeply with all of us. Will anyone arrive in time to stop Jens from making a fatal mistake, or are we about to witness a shocking tragedy? But guys, the absolute highlight of this entire stretch has to be Jocelyn. If you think she is just a helpless victim, you are dead wrong. Jocelyn is proving that she has her mother's fierce fighting spirit. Trapped and desperate, she remembers the homemade knives that Anna left behind in her bedroom. Instead of cowering in fear, Jocelyn decides to take her destiny into her own hands. She begins a highly dangerous, seductive game with Cassius, pretending to be deeply attracted to him to lower his guard. We can see the calculating look in her eyes as she hides her weapon, waiting for the absolute perfect moment to strike. This is not the innocent girl we used to know. This is a warrior fighting for her survival. When the moment finally comes, Jocelyn's strike is going to be a brutal, bloody, and defining moment in her life. She is willing to paint the walls red if it means securing her freedom, and the sheer adrenaline of this confrontation is going to have us screaming at our television screens. If you ask me, this savage turn for Jocelyn is exactly what her character needs to elevate her to legendary soap status. She refuses to be a hostage anymore, and Cassius is about to learn the hard way that you never, ever underestimate a woman who has been pushed to her absolute limit. The aftermath of this bloody clash is going to send shockwaves through the entire community. As we head into the final week from June 15 to June 19, the consequences of everyone's actions come crashing down. Curtis is desperately trying to secure a plea deal to avoid a lengthy prison sentence, wanting nothing more than to be present for the birth of his child. But Isaiah is standing in his way, fueled by a deep, burning hatred. Isaiah blames Curtis entirely for the destruction of his career and wants to see him rot behind bars. The animosity between these two men is incredibly intense, and if Derek's upcoming surgery fails, Isaiah will have even more reason to ensure Curtis's total ruin. It is a tragic, high-stakes battle of survival and revenge where no one truly wins. Caught directly in the crossfire of this bitter feud is Portia. The sheer overwhelming stress of the situation pushes her body to the brink, causing her to go into premature labor at the worst possible moment. The terror of delivering a baby under these extreme conditions is going to bring us to tears, especially when some highly concerning medical news about the baby starts to emerge. Portia has fought so hard for her family, and seeing her face every mother's worst nightmare is going to evoke deep empathy from every single one of us. We are going to be holding our breath, praying for a miracle for Portia and her newborn child. And finally, the moment of ultimate reckoning arrives for Brooklyn and Chase. Michael, ever the calculated strategist, is on the verge of exposing Brooklyn as the third driver. He wants to tear down her wall of lies without damaging his own carefully crafted reputation, and the trap he sets is flawless. Chase is about to discover that the woman he loves, the woman he married, has been keeping a massive, earth-shattering secret from him. The trust between them is going to be completely shattered, throwing their marriage into a violent tailspin. Can their relationship survive a betrayal of this magnitude, or is this the definitive end for one of our favorite couples? Looking back at these interconnected storylines, we can see how beautifully the writers are building the suspense. Every single decision, from Nina's desperate alliance to Jocelyn's bloody rebellion, is leading to a massive collision. We are being treated to a masterclass in dramatic storytelling, where every character is forced to pay the price for their secrets. If you ask me, this is the absolute peak of daytime drama, and we are incredibly lucky to be along for the ride. The sheer emotional weight of these episodes is going to stay with us long after the credits roll, proving once again why we are so deeply invested in these lives. As the final days of June approach, the tension in Port Charles is going to reach an absolute fever pitch. The stage is set for an explosive series of confrontations where alliances will be shattered, families will be torn apart, and survival is the only goal. Trust me, the fallout from these 3 weeks is going to ignite a brutal, merciless war for control of Port Charles, and when the dust finally settles, the town we know and love will be changed forever.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.